Hello everyone and welcome back to Run It Up number 58. Think so. Today we were playing some 50 cent $1 no limit Texas Hold'em on ultimatepoker.com, and yeah, that's what's going on. We're in there today. This is a double video day for me. I just did the Mike Mattisau video. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. I reviewed a $50, $100, a $50, 100. All right. I reviewed a high-stakes poker session back from 2006 where I battled with Mike the Mouth Mattisau. First time ever playing 50, 100. I decided to play some heads-up against Mike the Mouth because I figured, hey, why not? So if you haven't seen that video yet, go check that out. If you also saw it and you didn't like that I had an audio problem going on, I fixed that, so that also is all resolved. So it should just be beautiful, wonderful, poker run it up, kind of, not really run it up, but poker viewing pleasure all ready for you. Just, I'll put a link somewhere. I'm sure you guys can figure that out. So here we are today trying to do some work. At this table here, the only person that I recognize in terms of regulars is this yogurt eater fella. I feel like I've seen him around a little bit before, but I could be wrong about that. And obviously across table from us is the one and only Brent Hanks, who we played a heads up sit and go against earlier in the week. Yeah, that was Monday, I think. All right, so we've got everything figured out. Let's see if we can do some work and run it up this video. Wouldn't that be something? 7-6 offsuit here in the button, probably gonna attack. I don't see any reason not to. Haven't yet seen a reason to fold a hand such as this. I guess we will fold against the guy we don't know. Mad White Dud. Dude. Oh, okay. Not quite the same thing, Mad White Dud. All right, sweet. I wonder if he was aware of that his name would look like that upon making his name. I doubt it. That's kind of funny, though. They shouldn't let you make that. Maybe it's because it's all caps that he breaks the limit. Who knows? So yeah, I think folding there makes some sense. So I'm quite excited to announce that I have restocked our Dear J. Carver questions. That's right. We've restocked the old question pile. So if you've written me a question anytime recently, today might be the day. It might be the day. I'm excited to get to some of these new age questions, it's you'll see I've skimmed through a couple of them. The tone has changed a little bit. So I'm excited about that. I guess I'll just fold here under the gun with the old king and 5. Not really much else new going on with me. There is a story that I thought I should share with you, even though it's kind of old. I, for some reason, didn't tell you guys this story a month ago when it happened. But or at least I don't think I did. But I went to a meeting with people that I completely didn't know. It was a place that I was like, it was the most like tenuous connection of meetings. It was like someone sent me a text and said, hey, if you're interested, I'm doing this presentation. I'd love for you to come and hear me out. So I was like, all right, sure, person I don't really know. I'll listen to what you have to say. So I went to this meeting. And when I walked into the room, sit down. It's a pretty sizable room full of people behind me. I was in towards the front of the room, and it was kind of like a stage type of thing where people were elevated behind me. So I take a seat, and next thing I know, someone behind me goes, "Run it up!" How cool is that? I thought that was so awesome. So yeah, that happened like 3 weeks ago, maybe. And I had just forgotten until today when I told the story to somebody else on Twitter, one of the Run It Up fans, one of those little Run It Up warriors that reminded me. So I figured I should share that with you guys. Thought that was kind of cool. All right, so I ended up check and calling here on the flop, and then we've turned the old nothing. But I'm thinking of maybe doing something devious just because, seems like a thing that might work. Let's see what our opponent decides to do here. The very accurate avatar of a guy that works at Ultimate Poker, by the way. It's like spot on. it's spot on. So if I call him Tobin, you'll have to forgive me. Let's see what our friend does over there. It looks like he's timed out or disconnected. This is like one of those moments we should have something pre-prepared for. It's like, during those weird pauses, it's like a commercial break. It's like, what can we talk about? I don't know. All right, well, our opponent is kind enough to give us a free card. I don't really feel like in this spot. I mean, he might have disconnected, which is possible. I mean, we could just win this pot with a bet. I would have bet on this turn. I would have done something aggressive either with a check raise on the turn or bet the river anyway. Even if he's reconnected, this still might work. And if he's disconnected, obviously, it's just wins. But I would have fired anyway. Just because it disconnected doesn't mean we should just give up, right? Also, in spots like this, when you turn the tables around, I would never expect somebody to let me win the pot and just like give up. I would always expect somebody to attack once I disconnected. So we win that pot there. Don't feel good about it, but you know, hey, it's them's the online pokers for you. All right, good old 9 and 10 here, offsuit in the small blind. Brent decides to re-raise, or open, I should say. I guess we will just let that one go. Let's pull a question. I'm quite excited about this. Let's pull a question. Oh. All right. I'll answer this one just because it wasn't, it didn't pull it randomly, but I saw, I couldn't ignore the all caps with Dear J. Carver on it. It's too good. I guess you can't really see it, but it's there. All caps, Dear J. Carver. All right, sure. Going to be defending here on the button with Queen Jack, but could also re-raise. I think that would be fine. Actually, I think we're going to re-raise because Brent's going to be attacking here so widely with this guy who's posting in between. Now, Brent almost certainly will be aware of the fact that we will be lighter because of the fact that he should be lighter because of the fact that this guy posted. So he might be aware of all these things, but our hand is still pretty decent and we're still on the button. So unless he makes it like 28 here, we're going to see it flop with a hand that's fine in position. I wouldn't expect to see Brent fold here too often. Yeah, he's coming after us. So I think that we could definitely arguably shove. I think shoving is fine. I think calling is fine as well. We make some mistakes, but not really that many mistakes because I don't think he ever has like 10-7 offsuit here, too often at least. So I think I'm fine with calling and going from there. Let's see what happens. That would be a pretty good flop for Queen and Jack. We have now got 2 queens and 2 jacks. Well, I think our decision here is probably going to be just to shove over whatever Brent bets. Like, he's just not going to bet small enough for us to do anything besides shove. You know, we're going to shove here with all sorts of draws and stuff like that. And I think calling wouldn't make much sense. I mean, calling would be fine, but there's already so much money in the pot. I'm fine with just shoving. I'm all in. All right. That's a scary hand to see. Let's see if we can dodge it. We have dodged it indeed. Kind of unlucky for Brent there. He, of course, played his hand perfectly well. We got lucky to flop 2 pair and managed to just hold on through. He just gripped onto that there. That's right. Oh, we shipped it. I don't want to do it as an aggressive type of bink, but I really want to hit the bell today. I am jonesing to hit that bell. I proposed the idea because I'm enjoying this bell thing so much that I proposed to my boyfriend that I could, hit the bell when I wanted something from him because he's in the other room, but he didn't like that idea too much. So I have to get it out during Run It Up, So I've got my eye on it, but I won't use it against Brent. Friend of the show, friend of mine. I won't use the bink bell on poor Brent over there. But nice little pickup there. Let's do a question. Your question propelled us to win, perhaps. Another question from a fella named Darren. I feel like there's lots of Darrens. I feel like I've answered like 5 questions from Darrens. This is Darren with an I. That's exciting. I used to teach a kid in karate. His name was Darren. Another little rascal, as I remember. Anyway, let's do this question here. Dear J. Carver, Jason, greetings from across the pond in the UK. Hello, I love the UK fans. I can't resist. They're great, unbelievable. Loving the videos on your channel, especially the Run It Up series. In fact, I have been laid up ill this week. I managed to watch the first 45 videos back to back. How's that for a fan? That is incredible. That is incredible. You must be like, it must be awful to have like my voice in your head. 45 videos. That is crazy. Crazy. Anyway, as the recreational player, they are very inspirational and educational, not to mention thoroughly entertaining. Thank you, sir. I think your idea to make a beginner series is awesome. Yes, that is an idea I will be pursuing, actually. And I, for one, will look forward to improving my game through them. Thank you, sir. My question, how do you learn to play fearless poker? As a low micro-stakes player with a relatively limited bankroll, I know I am getting bluffed off of pots for fear of losing the money that I have. Keep running it up. Regards, Darren. Hey, Darren, I'm going to keep your question in my hand because I run hot as fuck since I was reading your question. So, we've made it here with Nut Flush. Before we get back to your how do you play fearless poker besides run hot as shit, I think we'll start out with a bet. We'll come back to this. Let's see if Mad White Dud wants to do anything. No, unfortunately not. Well, thanks for your question, Darren. As far as how do you learn to play fearless poker, I think that the best thing you can do in terms of trying to learn, how to play more aggressively is to just kind of get a feel for the logic of things, right? Because I think that it's not so much being fearless as much as it is like getting it, right? Because if you really get it, then like this guy doesn't have anything. He almost for sure doesn't have very much, and then you can kind of put pressure on people in that instance. And it's obviously all about like probabilities and likelihoods, and we don't know for sure. There are very few things we know for sure in poker, but there are lots of things we can guess. So like in this particular instance, I am fearlessly raising with Jack 10 offsuit because of the fact that he min-raised in the small blind, which is almost typically not really a very good hand. Also, we haven't seen this guy re-raise yet so far, so he's likely not to have very much. And if he does re-raise us like this, we're very happy to just call and see a flop because we're in position with a hand. So, off to the flop we go. We've flopped ourselves a pair, which is sweet. And I will certainly not be folding, given that we are blind versus blind, and I especially think this guy is probably not too strong. So we could raise and get it in, but I'm fine with just calling. Let's see what the turn is. Hopefully not an ace or a king. That would be an ace. So I'm a little bit unhappy about this, but we have turned a gut shot at least, and our opponent has checked. All of these things make me feel fairly confident. Now, he could definitely have a hand with an ace in it and then decide to check this turn. That's certainly possible, but let's check back and see a river and go from there. 8 is not quite going to cut it, and then he bets pretty quickly. So I really don't think that he's going to be bluffing here too often. I mean, he must have a hand like ace-10. Maybe he has a hand as good as ace-king and min-raise, and I just misread that his pre-flop min-raise was weak. And I didn't even think that it was for sure weak, but I thought it was at least probably weak. So I just don't think that it makes much sense that he's bluffing in this case. He could be for sure. He absolutely could be for sure. But I don't think it necessarily makes a lot of sense for him to be bluffing in that spot. Like, if he was going to bluff, he would be most likely to bluff on the turn. And on the river, I mean, we're not happy about it. But I think it's fine for us to just fold the river. Do I like it? No. We could also just call pre-flop, which then changes everything. And I decided to put some pressure on in position because I just felt like we were going to make money doing that more so than calling. But we could have also just done that. That would have been fine. Against a guy we don't know, we're not really sure. So it might have been too thin to do that, to take the line that I took. At this point in the match, it might be too early to raise for value and go from there. So it didn't work out for us that time, but I think our logic mostly makes sense. And we got the job done here with the old ace and 5 of puppy dog feet. Yes, that's right. So I really think that the path to fearlessness lies through education, right? And wow, how nice was that little Yoda? It's very Yoda-esque, not worded so, but it was very zen, The path to fearlessness lies through education. Wisdom from Jay Carver. Yes, that's right. So yeah, there's that. I think that that's really the key. Watch a lot of videos, talk poker with friends, study the hands that you play. Always try to think about what your opponent is doing and design. We talked about this in yesterday's video. Designing cages for people, designing bets. You want to kind of think about things and think about what you can accomplish and what your bets are meant to do. Like you're giving. You want to kind of figure out like what's the correct bet size to do this and play with it. Think about let's talk about this particular spot. So Brent made it $3 pre-flop, right? What happens if Brent makes it $4? What happens if Brent makes it $5? What happens if Brent makes it $2? What happens if Brent calls? Like, the best way to get good at poker is to play with those decision trees. You know how much we love our decision trees if you've been watching the show. I'm a big fan of the pizza delivery boy. That's what that is. That's all right. How nice is that? Okay, sure, great. Anyway, I think I'm a big advocate of. Sometimes I check to make sure that the video is recording, because otherwise I'm just talking to myself like an idiot, and I'm very afraid of that. So yeah, I think the best thing to do is to always challenge yourself and think through and try to determine, think out of the box, because who cares? Who cares if it works or doesn't work? As long as you're thinking and trying and experimenting and learning and growing, that's fine. Good luck. You'll win in the long run. Lots of the cutting edge things in poker that are like common these days were experimental thoughts and stuff from the people that did them at first. Like look at Negreanu with min raising. Now everyone's min raising, and Sauce has done so many things, and Jungle Man has done so many things. So watching and studying and learning and absorbing is certainly the best way to get to be fearless, in my opinion. Good question, great email. You helped run it up. Thank you for your contribution, sir. Another Darren. That is great. All right, let's pull a question. Oh, all right. Another new age question. Dear J. Carver, all caps again. I don't mind the caps. You're excited. I'm excited to read your question. You're excited to write it. It works out good for both of us. Dear J. Carver, I have a question. That's you're in the right place, kid. I guess we'll come back to your question after we play these pocket fours. Here we are again against Mad White Duo. So many possibilities, I like Mad White Dud. Mad White Dud is just, it makes me laugh. I don't know what to say. So we're in the same situation as we were in with Jack 10 offsuit, except for the fact that this is even a little bit better than Jack 10 offsuit, and I know a little more information than I knew when we raised the Jack 10 offsuit. So once again, if our opponent re-raises, we're very happy to call. Our opponent this time decides to call. We flop what is likely to be the best hand. Don't know for sure, but we think that's likely, at least possible, probable. Going to be betting here. We most likely lose to a jack if he's got us beat. All right, we made ourselves an extra $4 by raising preflop. Probably. Can't say for sure, because maybe he ends up, somehow losing more money to us another way. But I like how he played that hand, especially given that we played Jack 10 offsuit the way that we did. All right, let's read your question. Dear J. Carver, I have a question. Great news. How do you stay energized? You seem so energetic on the Run It Up videos. I know you mentioned eating healthily and staying rested, but what is your secret? I hope this gets answered. I even capitalized your name in hopes of being recognized. Hey, I did notice that. Best Joe. P.S. I absolutely love your Run It Up videos, and I have learned more from you than any other individual yet. That is great. Thank you, sir. And I've been playing poker for... Ooh, you've got another little heater, too. Look at this little two-pairage we've just made. And I've been playing for 6 or so years. Awesome work. Please keep it up. Well, thank you, Joe. As far as your question, which is how do I stay energized... it's a process. I don't really have any tricks or anything like that. But, for the videos particularly, I try to time the video making. By the way, we could have raised this button. That was kind of automatic. That was not necessarily a good fold. For the videos particularly, I try to time the videos to be done when I'm at peak energy level. If I was at a low energy level and try to do the videos would be much more boring in my opinion. So I try to time them out to levels to, usually times of the day where I'm, at a high level. So you guys do see me at a level where I'm not necessarily always there. So like if you run into me during like a poker tournament sometime and, I'm not, all gung-ho Jay Carver, it's that's because that's what I'm normally like. So the videos are probably not necessarily the best. I'm definitely calling here. We got a suited king in position. I ain't going nowhere. So you're certainly seeing me at a higher than average energy level usually, but not always. You guys have seen some more of the morning videos, late night videos that aren't so energetic, but I think generally, I don't really do anything besides like clean eating. Like I don't eat anything crazy. I don't really drink anything besides water. I don't really I don't really have any like energy giving tips, to be honest with you. I don't think that's something I'm really super qualified to talk about, or at least talk about like intelligently beyond my like I think, I guess generally, I'm very excitable. That's true. If you're talking about general like excitement level, that is a true thing. But I don't know how I can help you with that. I remember my mother made fun of me a lot when I was a kid for all the hand stuff that I did. She used to tease me. I think it was my mother. It could have been my grandmother, now that I think about it. But I think it was my mother. She used to tease me for doing she called it like the shaky, as though she used to call it. Because I would always like want to talk with my hands. But now it's great because it's a thing, One of these days I could do a silent video and just do hands only and just be like, I don't know what I'm doing exactly, but if I thought about it, I feel like I'm very hand expressive. It's a effect of the Italian plus the gay thing, It's a very nice combination, and it adds to the whole hand thing. It creates this hand monstrosity that you guys deal with all the time. That's right. Whatever that is, I don't even know. All right, sweet. Anyway, I don't know how we got to this part of this question, but I don't have an answer for you, really. I guess be happy, and drink a lot of water. That's right. Oh, that question does not look fun. Let's pull. All I see is some scary words in there that don't sound like fun words. So let's pull another one. Okay. Oh, all right. Dear J. Carver. Would you ever consider letting people from Run It Up submit a half-hour video of them playing and you commentating over and saying what we're doing right or wrong and why? Well, another heater. These questions and answers. This is like the Dear J. Carver heater hour. Although we haven't got much action, but hopefully makes it $2. We can make it $6 again because that would just be fantastic. We're going to put this guy in the cage. Oh my God. This guy doesn't even know that this guy has entered the cage right now. That's right. You're in the cage, mad white dud. You're about to be real mad. Probably still just as white, but definitely mad. All right. Well, I'm going to start here with a bet. Don't see why not. If he check raises, I'm going to be a little concerned, but, not concerned enough to do anything besides call and be sad about it. All right. So, 'tis possible that this fella has a flush, but not particularly likely. And besides, we have the King of Diamonds as our escape hatch, just in case we are somehow beat now through some miracle of science. Okay. Well, I would like to bet $35 that we have the best hand. I would actually bet way more than $35, but I'll start with betting $35 right here and now. Let's see what Mad White Dud thinks about this. If he check raises, I'm going to be quite upset. All right. That was an appropriate one right there. Right? That's what we did. We've been setting that up since the beginning, That's what we've been doing. We've been waiting for our big moment, and that's it. That's what we did right then and there, It's very possible we just coolered our opponent and he just had King Jack or something like that, and then he has no choice but to check call. It's not that we necessarily did anything particularly miraculous. It just happened to work out for us pretty well that time, of course. Happy to call here, limp and call. That is not quite the best flop for us, but optimism does say that we have several backdoor draws, of which we have turned one. Going to start here with the wager. We win this often enough right here and now, and sometimes we'll get it done by the river. Certainly this counts as a card that we're going to attempt to get it done on. I think 10 will get it done here often enough. I don't think he folds a hand as good as like a queen, but how often does he have a hand that can call here that checks back on flop? Probably not too often. I think it works often enough. Not going to work out for us this time unless there's some miracle. Oh, just two aces. He can't fold two aces, Two aces is, I guess that hand isn't going anywhere. But hey, we had equity. We did turn equity. There's that at least. All right, back to the question. Thank you for your heater power, by the way. That was kind of you. Anyway, your question was, would I ever let people from Run It Up submit videos and then do commentary over them? And yeah, that was your question. By Gil. Yeah, sure. I'd be up for that. That sounds fun. I've done it before on my channel. To some degree, I don't particularly love the idea just because of the fact that I don't want to be mean to people. And, I think, when I do my own reviews, I can be mean to myself and not feel bad. But other people, I could do it. I could definitely do it. I think it would be a fine thing to do every once in a while. I'd be down. If you guys would like to see that, let me know. That's what the comments are for. Comment and say, hey, or let me know on Facebook. I've actually come around to Facebook quite a bit since I started these Run It Up videos. What are you doing, Brent Hanks? What are you doing to me, kid? So we have bet and we have bet. And Brent has check raised. I guess we just fold. It's possible that he's bluffing us off there. He's got his bluffing shoes on and he's just kicking us. It's possible. If our hand was better, I would... I don't know. I don't love that spot. We could have just checked back, obviously, too. I thought betting twice would make a little bit more sense and accomplish a little bit more. But I could have been wrong about that. It's happened from time to time. But yeah, I'd be down to make videos. I think that would be a cool thing to do. Videos of fans and stuff like that. I think that sounds pretty cool. Oh, that's a good question, but I'm not going to do this one now, but I'll get to it eventually. Okay. Right. This is an interesting question. No subject. He had to just write me a question. Had no time for subjects. I guess we'll call here with Queen 6 offsuit. Don't think re-raising makes a ton of sense, and I also expect him to kind of be aware of our strategy these days and would probably give us some resistance to our pre-flop re-raising, especially when we have a hand such as this. Our opponent decides to check and raise. I laugh at your check raise, sir. I didn't really, but in my head I did. I'm certainly going to be calling against this silly check raise of this fellow's. Could have the best hand. We could get it done on some scary turn cards. Sometimes he'll just check fold. But for the price we're getting, I'm not folding, At this point now, I guess we just fold, though. But on the flop, I was not going anywhere. I guess we just fold, Our hand is pretty close to being folded on the flop, but it's a little bit too good in my opinion. All right. So this is a email. Dear Jason Somerville. Okay, sure. Dear Jason Somerville. And then the question, look, Ace King, what is up with this? These Dear J. Carver questions have been like Heater City. Unbelievable. I'm pausing the question writing. Oh my god, what a great spot for us. I'm just in the catbird seat over here. What to make it is the question. I'm thinking 32. That's right. I'm thinking 32. We're out of position. We don't want to make it too small. Like, making it 25 out of position is just asking to be given the business. So I think making it 32 is fine. You can make it 31. You could make it 29. They're all pretty much the same thing. You could make it 35. But you want to give a slight appearance that we could be weak or light or somehow not that strong. Gotta call it off here, of course. Good old flipperoo. Look, 2 black chips and $1 chip. That's what we're playing for, boys and girls. Oh, look at that sweet old turn card. No Bink Bell for us this time. Damn, your question. I should just shelve this question. This question ruined everything. The rest of them were on such heaters, and then this disaster happens, Look at that. 200 sweet profit dollars. That is unfortunate. All right. This fella's question is, have I ever folded kings pre-flop? Fan of Run It Up from Ukraine. Sweet. Have I ever folded kings pre-flop? Yes, I have, for sure. Have I ever done it yeah, I've definitely done it. Probably under 10 times, but I've definitely done it. Definitely under 10 times, but probably higher than 5, actually. I know it's probably crazy for some people to think about, but sometimes you just know. If this guy had set out, I would have been on a little bit of a rant. But looks like he doesn't just sit out. It would have been a little annoying. I mean, it happens. It's 50 cents a dollar, but still, I would have had something to say about that. But yeah, I folded a couple times. Maybe the time that I remember the best, I folded kings live, and it was like one of those spots where like for sure the person had aces. Like there was no way that there was like a 6-bet. You know, it was like raise, re-raise. And then I was somewhere in there with a raise, and then someone else like cold shoved, you know, and it was someone who was tight, you know. It happens from time to time. But I think it's just a matter of like not being blinded by the strength of your hand, right? So, that's funny. Nope. Lucky you, sir. Lucky you. You made it to all in, and then the rest of it was just that. So yeah, there was a hand live at Borgata, actually. I remember it fairly well. That was like, I think it was like raise, re-raise. God, I don't remember. I remember being in like the small blind though, and the woman that I folded to was just like so tight up till that point and just could never have ace king. And I didn't think would have queens. So I what else can you have? Kings and aces. So I remember just folding then. But I folded online a couple times before. Don't remember hands. Maybe I could actually look them up because I have almost all my hands on this computer. So maybe I could look them up. But yeah, nothing more memorable than that as far as I can recall. Let's pull another viewer question and see if we can get the heater resumed. Let's see. Oh, I love these new questions. Oh my god, they're great. Dear J. Carver, Toshiba Drill Master. Fantastic. A+, sir. Oh my god. If I'm ever not feeling my oats, I'm gonna just read these Dear J. Carver questions. These are hilarious and amazing. Dear J. Carver, Toshiba Drill Master. That would be me. Cage Master, you know, we're all Cage Masters here. That's what we do. We're training. This is Cage Master Academy. Run it up. That's right. You mentioned in Run It Up number 52, nice citation, that you did a lot of self-learning in poker early in your career. What resources did you refer to expand your poker knowledge? I found that books can have very limited information and not have the exact answers you're looking for at times. Very, very, very true. So, the books that I read Small Stakes Hold'em. I read Harrington on Hold'em, the tournament books, of which there was like one came out like maybe it wasn't even out when I started in poker. That's how old ago I started in poker. That's how long ago that was. But when I first started in poker, there was no real tournament books. So I remember reading like Theory of Poker. I remember reading, but you know, I read everything. I read whatever I could read. Like I read like Mid Stakes Hold'em, even though I wasn't playing Limit Hold'em or Mid Stakes. I read whatever. Eventually, I did play Limit Hold'em actually, partially because of the fact there was so much more information available for Limit Hold'em than No Limit Hold'em. But yeah, I think that these days there are so many more better resources in video form, in coaching, in all sorts of different methods that it depends on what works for you. Some people love to read, some people prefer coaching, some people prefer self-study, some people prefer, you know, there's all sorts of different ways to learn. It's just a matter of figuring out what's yours and what's your path. Oh wow, it's like that. I swear the things that entertain me is unbelievable. The things that entertain me. I'm just sitting here, it's just like, I don't know what this poker thing is going on here. I'm just like, you know, just flipping hands around. Sure, whatever. So yeah, I think it all depends on what works for you. I found books to be kind of limited as well, and also not necessarily applicable to what I was actually doing, you know. So I found that books are not particularly the best form of learning for me, but it might not be necessarily the case for you. And the books, I'm sure, have improved significantly since I was a wee lad. Second question, two-parter. I'm in my first year of pharmacy school. I have a friend that went to pharmacy school that graduated sometime recently ago. He's in residency or something like that. Thanks, Jay Carver. Who gives a fuck? I just assume that there's some people out there that are just like, Jay Carver, come on, you know? Come on, you don't understand. The people that watch these videos and are like, "Oh, Jay Carver, why can't you talk more about poker hands?" I guess like that's just not what we're doing here. We're on YouTube, okay? For one, we're on YouTube, so we're supposed to be having fun. It's YouTube, you know? It's meant for a fun format. Secondly, I feel like people don't have fun enough playing poker because poker is an inherently fun game that people have done their best to suck the fun out of in the last 5 or 10 years, right? Especially in the last 5 years. Poker, even like poker on TV was more fun, in my opinion, like 5 years ago. And of course, there's time for serious poker, of course, I understand. But generally speaking, I feel like how many poker videos can people watch and have fun and learn? There's like nothing. You know, I feel like Run It Up is the first that could potentially fall under that category. And I'm kind of proud of that, you know? All right, ace and 4 offsuit. We will certainly be defending. Let's see a flop. I'll put $1 in the machine. Sure, why not? So we've managed to flop ourselves perhaps the best hand. Not really sure. We have 2 viable decisions here, check calling and check raising. I feel like against Brent, I'm not really sure which is best, but I think I'm going to just call. Sometimes I check raise here, but I think check calling is probably a little bit better against Brent particularly. We had seen Brent in the heads up video. He had checked back some of his middling pairs, that kind of a thing. So I think that I'm not necessarily sure that he's going to keep that strategy for this. However, I feel like that given that he's bet flop and turn, he can have any number of draws that we're ahead of. And the only hands he has for value are like sets, 2 pair, queens, stuff like that. He might have checked back hands with like 7s and deuces in them, that kind of a thing. Jack on the river, not necessarily the best of cards for us. Let's see what he does here. If Brent had 9-10, he now has got there. Besides that, that's pretty much that. So I'm not necessarily folding $9. Interesting. So, I don't know. We're getting 3-1, so I'm tempted, but I don't know, man. That just seems like maybe that's... I don't know. I really am not sure about this hand. Every single street is arguable except for preflop. Every other street is arguable whether you should check call, check fold, check raise. Every single street has viable decision paths for all of those things. And on the river, I was considering all of those options. I was primarily considering check calling, and then I considered check raising, which would also be fine. And then, ultimately, I don't think check raising makes the most sense just because there's not too many hands we would play that way that would check call, check raise. There's not enough hands, I don't think, that would play that way for us to do that. Check calling I thought was viable, but he bet $9, which kind of convinced me a little bit that he didn't want us to fold. Like he kind of felt that he was just making a clearer value bet, but he could definitely have been disguising a bluff as that. So yeah, I'm not really 100% sure what to do there on the river, but I think our decisions are okay, except for the fact that we probably could have just folded on the turn, which would have saved us like $6 or whatever that is there. Let's finish up this question. Right. So I'm in my first year of pharmacy school and have a goal of getting out of school debt-free. That seems kind of hard to do. The average graduating pharmacy student has a debt of $200K. Wow. Okay. That does seem hard to do. Do you think that goal is realistic in 4 years' time? Thanks for your time, David N. Well, I think it entirely depends on what you're doing to make money, right? Because that's hard for me to tell you because I'm not really sure. If you're only trying to play poker to do that, it depends on like what state you're in, if you're in the U.S. at all. Because if you're not in the U.S., then yeah, you could probably do it. I mean, if you were really good enough and worked hard, you could at least crop off most of that. So I think that there's some chance that you could get out of it, but it depends on what you have access to, like how busy your time schedule is. There's just no way in heck. What do you got, bud? You got like deuces, kings. I find this to be kind of suspicious. I mean, he could definitely have us beat with the set. That's certainly possible, but I think a lot of times people just check, raise, check. They turn club draws, some sort of combo draw, doesn't know what else to do with himself, decides to check call and then check raise. I mean, I guess he must have it, because people in this spot usually give up when they don't have it. So I feel like maybe we could have folded turn for the 11 more, but I mean, not knowing the opponent really. I mean, we've seen him around a couple times, but not enough that I remember. I mean, we could be getting bluffed here, but once again, it doesn't make a lot of sense that he would take this path to bluff. It's possible we got bluffed. It's happened before. It'll happen again, but I think that's fine. Fold the river, I think, is the clearest decision. The turn, we could actually just, I guess, bet fold. I actually think that was probably, of all the decisions we've made this video that I think are close, that turn is probably just a bet fold. Like, that guy's probably, there's probably not enough hands besides like ace queen of clubs, and I think that hand is at least somewhat likely to just give up on the river once he doesn't get there. So I don't know. That hand I feel weird about, more so than maybe most of the other ones. So yeah, as far as you're making money, 200K in 4 years is tough, man, at poker, especially if you're not already like a winning professional. So you're going to try to like learn, improve, and then make 200K. You know, if you're not in a place with like a great network of like poker to be played, you know, if you're not in a place where you can really get in there and play a lot, I mean, it's tough, especially if it's just poker. If you've got other ways, then I don't know why you're asking me. But if it's only poker, it's tough. That doesn't sound easy. All right, let's do one short question. I'll go to the bottom of the pile here. We'll do an older one. We'll do an older one for you. Oh, that's a good question, but I don't want to do that one right now. That's definitely not a short answer. All right. Oh, perfect question. Perfect question length. All right. Dear Jay Carver, I'm a huge fan of Run It Up and poker in general, but I was wondering if you had an opinion on UFC 167, the title fight between St. Pierre and Hendricks. The Canadian me wants to love St. Pierre in this. I'm pretty sure you have to, contractually. His all-around fighting seems to be a favorite, but Hendricks is just such a strong left. Well, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. But I think Hendricks has a really good shot to beat GSP. He has all the tools. He's got pretty good wrestling, obviously great striking. So if Hendricks can keep the fight on the feet, I think he's going to get the job done pretty often, actually. Like I think Hendricks has got the best shot to beat GSP of anyone that's fought GSP ever. Probably ever, right? So I think that's probably true, that Hendricks is the biggest threat. GSP can definitely get it done if his wrestling is up to the task, but you know, he might actually have a bit of a threat in Hendricks that he hasn't seen ever before, in my opinion. And then our friend here signs off with, well, here's hoping the Toshiba drill, which are actually very hard to find in Canada. I know. Must be tough. Keeps going strong. Sean. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate that. All right, so looks like we didn't run it up here. We lost $28, and I have to rectify the bankroll session from the other day, which I haven't done yet. So this is correct as of all the camera play, but I lost some money a couple days ago that I haven't accounted for yet. So we've lost $28 beyond that. So I'm gonna have to do some accounting and get everything figured out. We're probably somewhere right around like the $13.50 range is my guess. Something like that. So we'll adjust for all that accounting. I'll make sure it's all right, or you know, at least reasonably close to right. It might be off by a couple dollars. You'll have to just agree with that, you know, that truth of it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I'll be back with more tomorrow. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, you know, all that other stuff. I really appreciate that. I'll be back with more very soon. Thanks so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.